Okay, I'm going to lay all my kit out here at once. This is a transition into the spring-summer season. Winter's just about done. This is kit that I take that's if I'm hiking 5 miles or more. I'm just going to contrast it to some of the kit that I don't find I carry if I am going more than 5 miles, and of course if I'm not base camping. And this gear I just always end up using over and over again. So quickly, 1/4 inch ultralight foam pad for ground cloth or in a hammock. My 3 pounds of clothes, wool sweater, extra pair of briefs, 2 extra pair of socks, a pair of very thin nylon zip pants, zip off shorts type pants, my REI rain pants, the military mosquito net to go over my hammock or with my tarp. I use it both ways, so this is instead of a tent. Tried to progress away from a tent. Some aluminum stakes, the 10 by 10 poly or the urethane coated Bushcraft USA tarp, some nylon straps for my hammock. These are just cheap straps, 99 cents each at Harbor Freight. Cut the buckles off them. No expensive hammock hanging system. None of this is really expensive gear. Go lights, you know, I just don't have the money to migrate to that, and I'm trying to cut down my weight. 50 feet of paracord, a very simple first aid kit. I've talked about that. My 12-inch by 14-inch closed cell foam butt pad. Back there, a summer weight sleeping bag, weighs less than 3 pounds, nothing expensive, 40 bucks. The 5x7 trauma blanket, which is reflective on one side, and just used as a ground cloth all the time. This one I have a toss-up. This is the USGI bivy. There's lighter bivvies out there. I like using a bivy underneath a tarp or a hammock. That's just my style. It's very difficult to justify the weight. That's over 2 pounds, 2¼ pounds. The USGI 2-quart canteen. I've tried the water bladders. Don't care for them. I've gone with the USGI canteen. My Lexan spork with Starbucks Via. The 1 pint GSI flask that goes in my cargo pants pockets. A 1 quart Nalgene BPA free bottle from REI. My 18-ounce stainless steel GSI cup, kind of a toss-up there, a little bit of weight. If you're in the spring and summer working around the water at all, not for fire or any of that kind of heat use, neoprene gloves, I find them very use. Till summer comes, I'll be taking these wool glove liners. They're light and they really help the chill, and you know, if you're working around heat, they are okay. My leather gloves, you know, I've talked about those. I'll take a light skull cap and my silk bag liner, so I'll go in here. So between the silk bag liner, the Gore-Tex bivy, and the summer weight bag, I can get down to 30 degrees. You know, it's not going to be underneath 30 degrees. Okay, continuing on here, this is my food bag. This is my new cook kit bag. Alright, pan over here a little bit. Here's the new cook kit bag. I've replaced my, for now at least, the Zebra stainless steel pot, which I really like, with an aluminum one. It's a little bit lighter, a little larger capacity. We got the pot cozy that I made for it there, and I have a lid. Underneath here, this is really hard to justify. This is that 6-inch Paderno baking pan. But I find that I don't just take food that is boil and eat. You know, I'm taking flour and maybe some steak for the first night. This really is nice to have this Paderno baking pan. 8 ounces of alcohol. I've talked a lot about my Trangia. This is the Antig Woodlord gasification stove. Pretty bulky, kind of hard to justify that, but you know, I'm liking it. It's nice. It doesn't weigh much, 6 ounces, and it gives me a good alternative. All this gear in here is a little debatable. I know for ultralight, you know, you guys are going to be laughing, but you know, this is what I'm doing, trying to keep it under 20 pounds base weight, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. So this all ends up right here, just about 2 pounds, and I wouldn't eat all of it, but here's my Turley PSK knife inside this nice little leather thing. I just think it's cool, so I carry it. It goes right on my belt. Here's some baking soda, hand sanitizer, and duct tape. You know, a million uses for that. A little redundancy here. This is the Adventure Medical Kit, Survival Kit. You know, compass in there and twine and so on and so forth. The Survival Fishing Kit, that's redundant and certainly not necessary. Only weighs a couple ounces, but I want to try and do some hobo fishing. And then my fire kit. There's a little fire steel in here, cotton ball, soaked Vaseline soaked cotton balls, things like that. I've replaced my black diamond headlamp with the Phoenix LD20 with the red filter. Pretty cool. I've kind of replaced the BK2, which I really like, with my BK11 and the little LED light that Pick or Colhane uses. Replaced the U-Digit stainless steel trowel with, I've had this thing for 20 years, with lighter poly one. Won't work in fires. Again, may or may not take the Frostmora. My MP3 player may or may not take that. Panning down here. Okay, so the MP3 player, just the iPod Shuffle. Using the SteriPen. You know, around here in a suburban, urban, you know, semi-primitive, you know, family campground area, water usually isn't a concern. But if I'm going to use water, I'm not sure I would trust a filter. There's too many chances of virus and things like that. I know you should use a SteriPen with a filter, but I would trust the SteriPen. Of course, you need batteries and it's got to work. I also carry chlorine dioxide, but I would probably end up boiling. But the SteriPen is going to be in addition to the filter instead of filter. Here's the little thing for the Nalgene cup in the SteriPen. I've told you that I usually hike with my son, so even though these weigh a pound together, so half a pound each almost, or 7 ounces each, the walkie-talkies come with us, and the GPS is just darn fun to know how far you've trekked. So that's the current gear, the current loadout, and it all goes in either the REI flash pack if I'm just doing day trips. Not all of it goes in the flash pack, but if I'm doing day trips, you've seen that. So here's the REI flash pack. Highly recommended, 18 liters, very light, fantastic. No frame on there, it's just a stuff sack is all it is, but it works great. And then the Kelty 50-liter red wine, so then which weighs about 3 pounds. And of course the REI rain jacket always goes along. Very nervous around the fire because it is an expensive jacket, but a good rain jacket. So now I'm going to transition over to the stuff that I don't take.